You're listening to the Ozie Gilbert podcast on YouTube. This is episode 1 where Liam Richards and I talk about dating and fitness. I hope you enjoy. Okay, hi guys, welcome to my podcast, my first podcast with Mr. Liam Richards. It's good to have you.
Yeah, it's good to be here, mate.
On the podcast. It's the first one I'm doing, but it's a bit strange. But we're just gonna have a bit of a discussion. It's gonna be quite laid back. I've been wanting to do a podcast now for quite some time, so it's like good to get something on YouTube. I don't want to go too much into it now. We're just going to get on with the podcast. But I do want to quickly mention that I'm going to have way more to come in the future. We've got some big plans, myself and Liam in Manchester, where we're going to be basing a lot of the videos, what we're going to be doing. Obviously, we're going to be living there, but we've got plenty more podcasts on the way, and they're going to get so much better audio and everything like that. But this is just a first little taster, so we'll see how it goes. The first discussion topic then, Liam, I want to talk about, it's a bit of a weird one. It's the opposite sex.
Opposite sex?
Opposite sex, girls in particular, right? I say girls because they're the opposite sex to us, for fuck's sake. Right, so I think it's what I want, is why I want to do this discussion topic.
Okay.
As among a few of the other ones that we're going to be touching on today, is because I think in this generation that we live in, and it's as weird as it is to sound, because we're literally talking about, just at the end of the day, half of the population, and I don't want to come across sexist. I think it's very important that we don't do that, but I do think it's worth touching on. The reason is because in this generation, it's very different in terms of dating. I'm not talking about girls, obviously. I'm not saying that at all. But in terms of dating and love and attraction, I think it's very much changed.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about how you feel it's changed for yourself, like your own experiences. You can touch on a little bit.
Dating and stuff like
dating.
that. Okay.
Dating. Focus on dating at the moment, right? And also like how you think dating has changed for everyone else. So talk about yourself, your own experiences, and then what other people have experienced from your knowledge, and what they should do to improve in terms of dating. First of all, to be more specific, tell me about your worst dates.
Okay, so my first ever date really was with my ex-girlfriend, and we didn't really go on a date before then. We just kind of started going on dates while we're in the relationship, and I guess I've kind of gone on dates with girls before by going for like a drink and stuff like that, or maybe something to eat, but that's mainly been from working with them or kind of being friends with them and then saying, do you want to go out for something? And I feel like the whole stereotype of going on Tinder and dating apps and stuff like that.
But yeah, I just want to make it clear as well. I think I want this podcast to be like really casual and stuff like that. So I think we'll touch on more serious topics in the future, but at the moment we're just keeping it light. Leroy June, what do you think, in your personal opinion, I'm going to throw it at you now, is the hardest thing? If someone had a gun to your head, you had to pinpoint one thing, what is the hardest thing you would say is when it comes to dating girls? Like, what would you say is the hardest like aspect of it, if that makes sense?
Hardest aspect of it?
Yeah, try and give me like a sort of a long paragraph answer and not just a one word.
I don't know, maybe getting the date in the first place, because obviously you've got say if you've matched with them on a dating website or app or whatever, because you're obviously in competition with maybe 20 to 30 other guys, so kind of trying to get them to respond in time, considering that, you know, I think everyone should get off dating apps, because if you notice, anyone you're speaking to, I don't know if it's for everyone, but I'm pretty sure that majority of people spend at least minimum of 2 hours to 3 days to reply on any dating apps. So I feel like if you're looking for a relationship, get off dating apps.
That's true.
Because obviously in my experience, I don't think dating apps work at all. Dating apps have never worked for me in a relationship, because whenever I've actually been in a relationship, I've either met them in person first, or I've just randomly had a message on Facebook or Instagram actually, and then that's the best way to go for it, because obviously everyone's on dating apps for the whole aim of wanting to get into a relationship. But then it's like,
don't you think they can be a bit like degrading as well? Like if you think about like Tinder and stuff, like because everyone's like judging on obviously like what you look, and like I think, because I don't know about you, but like do you not think that like people spend so much like fucking time like uploading their photos and like editing it, like because obviously it's all about the photo.
Bios on dating apps are the worst as well, because obviously like I think what makes me really laugh so much is you'll look at some.
Yeah, do you think people overthink that? Because that's what I'm trying to get at. Is like, do you think like that causes destruction to people? Like that causes people to really think.
100%. I've got the perfect example for that as well. Because not only that you'll come across some people's dating profiles where they will literally say, if you don't drive, don't swipe left instead.
Fucking
You're
annoying.
instantly saying that
so
because
fucking-
someone doesn't drive, they're not applicable to be a boyfriend. But actually,
Yeah,
do you drive? And the question they
And
ask,
then they're like, no.
no, and the answer's
Like,
probably no. And then they'll put in their bio like, you got to have a career, you got to do this, that, and the other. And then you actually look at what they're doing, and it's like, wait a minute, so you don't actually have what you're wanting from other people, so why do you get to say what?
I think that's some kind of like sexist misconception that guys should be the ones that are like they drive the girl everywhere and they shouldn't do anything. And I think like
No, all vice versa. I'm not saying it like, so obviously it works both ways. Where I'm assuming girls will look at guys' Tinder profiles and then they'll probably see the same. But I feel like personally, if anyone's listening to this right now and you want a relationship, like I know you probably don't even know me, so why would you even listen to me? But get off dating apps.
because it's the Ozie Gilbert Show podcast.
No, literally, like, get off dating apps. Like, if you actually want a relationship, even if you're not that social, so say, for example, you go out maybe 1 or 2 days a week, not going to lie, you have more chance for a relationship from that than going on Tinder 7 days a week, because the people that are on Tinder and all those other dating apps, I don't even think they're there for a relationship.
I hate to use you as an example here, but I want to cut to the chase it because obviously we're talking about Tinder specifically, like Liam like uses, right? I'm just going to say this to everyone, but I feel like I've been recently persuaded that he shouldn't use it, and I don't think you should. But you obviously you have had some kind of success. But do you need to talk from a personal perspective because you're saying that people shouldn't use Tinder. But do you think that you feel that way yourself? And what is the reason why you continue to why do you continue to use it if you generally believe that? Seriously,
I guess the whole thing about using Tinder and stuff like that on dating apps, I think you get to a point where you feel a bit more lonely, I guess. So especially in lockdown as well, it gets to a point where you feel a bit more lonely. Like, for example, I don't actually want a relationship right now. I don't want anything. But then every now and then I might think, oh, actually I do. So then I'll re-download Tinder and then, or another dating app. And then I think it gets to the point where you kind of have chats with people and stuff like that. And the reason why I don't want to have Tinder or anything like that is because you message someone for about a week or something like that. They have good conversation, or maybe even a day or something, and then you'll realise that they'll either start putting blunt replies, meaning that you have to now make more effort than what you're already doing, but they're not making any effort. Yeah, so then it's like, but they want you to make more effort, but they're not making any effort at all. So then it's kind of like, well, why am I going to make effort with you? Because you've already put me off that you're not making any effort at all. Or they will just like your comment. So then it's like, oh, okay, cool. So that's kind of it now. Or they'll literally, I think that some people, how they advertise themselves on Tinder isn't really good.
Hi guys, sorry to cut this podcast halfway through Liam talking, but I hate to say this, but as recording this this episode of the podcast, episode 1, I did have some technical problems with the recording, and it got cut to where Liam was just talking then, all about dating and everything like that. So that's as far as we get talking about dating. I did have another 10 minutes left of footage of recording of him talking about dating and stuff more, but unfortunately that has been deleted and I'm not able to share it at all. It's impossible for me to recover it, so I am having to cut halfway through, and then we move on to the topic of fitness, men's fitness specifically, and how it can help guys, why working out is good for people, why it's not good for people, and we talk about celebrity influences and other influences. So here is us talking about that, sort of in the middle of it, if you like. Okay, so Liam, what do you think about celebrity influence on men working out, and why do you think that's good or bad?
I think it's really good because obviously some celebrities do use their kind of status to a really good advantage that would be able to inspire and influence people in a very positive way. And, I think subconsciously, yeah, that definitely does play on my kind of mental state, because obviously it's always something that's going to kind of be there to make me want to push myself even more. But then you can have that whole argument of saying, well, actually, no, that's really bad for your mental health because you're comparing people, this, that and the other, whatever. And I totally agree with that as well. But it's that fine line of knowing how much you should push yourself and knowing how much that you should let social media and influencers influence you as a person and what you want to do, because do you know what I mean, like, not everyone's life is the same, and everyone's got different goals, and not everyone's gonna be able to achieve the exact same as everyone else in certain ways. And I think, you know, everyone should just do what makes them happy at the end of the day, and just stop letting influence take over their life. But if it takes over your life in a positive way that you can work around, then that's good. But you kind of need to know that fine line of when it's affecting your mental health badly, because obviously mental health is the most important thing with all this.
But has celebrities influenced you?
Yeah, definitely.
Which ones and why?
Probably, I mean, Dwayne Rock Johnson is definitely never going to be, you know, I'm never going to be the same size as him, am I? Clearly not. But the fact that, you know, from his progression stages and seeing what he's achieved from where he's come from and what he was, I mean, that you know, that you have to be blind to not realise, you know, what you can potentially achieve. He's you know, he's a living kind of example of what you could achieve if you really try. And I think, you know, I'm not just thinking of that in just the aspect of him being with fitness, but his whole career as a whole and his whole life. Like, I know I'm not going to achieve exactly what he is, because in his mind, he might not be the perfect achievement that he wants to aim for, and we all have our own achievements. But him as a person has shown me that if someone else can do it, then why can't I do it?
So if you had to sum up, like, your main influence into getting into fitness, what would you say it is for you personally?
Well, I don't really have
working out, or is
it's
it not
really,
one specific
no,
thing?
it's not one specific thing. It's just that I want to do it for me. Like, no one's influencing me to go gym. I'm not looking at someone thinking.
So is that the first time you properly like got into like lifting weights and stuff? Was when you went with Sophie for the first time?
Well, no, I lifted weights maybe when I went to a gymnastics centre, but like maybe once.
Yeah,
or
but
twice,
like when you properly got into going.
Well, yeah, with Sophie and stuff like that. And that was just because we wanted to change our lifestyle and be a bit fitter. Like I didn't look at a podcast or something like that and think. Because I think some people have to have someone to shout at them and has to have like an influence to be there. But I think it's really good to use your initiative and think, actually, this would be good for me, and then going for it, rather than thinking that you have to have something there telling you to do it.
For me personally, I think like the biggest influence on me was probably when I started like college, because I think, you know, you feel, even if you don't admit it, you feel a lot more independent. Okay, yeah, you're still living at home and stuff like that, and obviously there's a whole uni aspect of doing that. But I think for me, I remember like from day one I wanted to like start on my physique, because I remember when I was in secondary school I used to just focus on like running, cardio, pretty much nothing else other than that kind of stuff. And I used to, the reason why as well is because I only wanted to do cardio, and I literally didn't even want to lift up any weights and stuff, because I just didn't think it really mattered. But then like over time people would say, oh come on, like you're really skinny, you know. But I thought, okay, does that really matter? Because just because you're skinny like doesn't mean you're unfit. And I was like, well, I could easily outrun you. So all of the haters saying that I need to put on a bit of muscle,
yeah.
I was fitter than them. And fitness, it depends. I think fitness, people get confused because they, especially these days, they think fitness means
let me stop you there real
muscle,
quick. I think the people that judge people honestly on their own physiques and other people's physiques, I think if you look at someone that is judging someone else or saying a comment about what someone else looks like you could easily just say, you know what, I'm gonna let that offend me. But actually, take a breather, look at them. Obviously, don't judge them. You don't want to drop down to their level and be judgy like them. You just want to think and maybe even feel sorry for them and think they're judging you on your physique, but actually, have they really got it together themselves, or are they doing that to make themselves feel better? Because realistically, they're probably feeling really bad about themselves, and them offending you.
So like, yeah, they might. So what you're basically saying is, yeah, they might, yeah, they might look like kind of like fairly muscly if they're saying like, oh come on mate, you need to start working out, because like you just
well,
a bit.
If they're doing it in a
like,
supportive way, then that's fine. But if they're doing it to offend you and be nasty, I think there's the fine line between being a supportive, motivational, let's do this because I care about you, and the whole, I'm going to say this because I'm a bit of a jerk.
But the people that say it in a sort of jerky way, like you're talking about,
yeah.
Even if they are muscly themselves, do you reckon that they have other issues in their life, and that's basically why they're saying?
Yeah,
is that what you mean?
Yeah, of course. I think, but that can relate to everything as well. It's like if you're throwing a nasty comment at someone when they haven't really said anything to you, or something like that. It's like there's always something underlying, isn't there? It's like, I think even if people don't admit it or not, like everyone has something going on behind closed doors. And really, the people that throw nasty comments at people and stuff like that and try to be the person that thinks they know it all and have so much to say about other people, really, they've probably got the most going on than anyone else, because if they're throwing comments at people like they know it all, it's like...
Yeah, because I'll be honest with you, Liam. I don't want to name names and individuals and stuff like that, but I've definitely had an experience where, like throughout a certain period of my life, I had, like, specifically one individual that I can think of where I was generally, like, really skinny and stuff, and I know it's going to sound crazy, but I genuinely thought at that period of my life that wasn't even a thing, that girls kind of, if we're touching on girls again, that didn't really matter and stuff like that if we're looking at attraction.
Yeah.
Until, like, they said to me, you kind of should probably, like, try and put on a bit more muscle and stuff like that, because you will be a lot more attractive. And I was like, I don't know, like, if that was a bit sort of a harsh thing to say. And I think that is, to me, is what I'm trying to get at with this podcast discussion, is what is the main influence to why, as well as other influences like social media and celebrities, is really what makes young men, want to get big and strong, is because obviously there's, like, other peers saying to them, like, you need to look better, or you need to lose a bit of weight because you're too fat. And it's the people around them.
Yeah, I don't know. I think...
What would you say is the number one influence for other people, for in general? Is it social media, things like Instagram, celebrities, or peers? Because they're all influences, I think, into what makes guys...
Well, I think it's social media, really, isn't it? So everyone...
Yeah, we haven't really talked about social media. Let's talk about what social media...
Everyone's always on social media all the time.
How does social media influence people in terms of looking good? And why do people want to look good because of social media?
Wait, I mean, for example, I'll turn on my Instagram right now, and then you'll literally just see, about 5 people, straight away like that. You'll see someone from Love Island there, you'll see a model there, and then you'll see someone else advertising more work there, and then it easily makes you think, like, well, one, straight away I've instantly seen a Love Island person, they've gone on to a TV show, and now they're really big and famous. Wow, they've kind of got it all, and then that makes you think, wow, why haven't I really got it together? And then you see someone else, like a model, and then you think, oh, wow, I'm not that good looking, and then you look at someone else advertising a brand, and then it makes you think, oh, they're doing that for a brand, I'm not where I am, this, that, and the other. And it's like, if it's making you feel that low, and like that, unfollow them. But you could either do that and make it react into a negative impact on you, or you could use it as a positive and think, right, they're doing that.
Yeah, that's
good
advice.
Making me think, like, you know what? I really, really want to aim like that and use other people's successes to make you motivated, because that's what it should be doing. Other people being successful should not be making you feel negative. It should be making you think, right, I'm going to get off my arse and I'm going to try and strive to the best I can to do that. And even if you don't achieve that, at least you tried. And the thing is as well, is that if you don't try and you don't get out of your comfort zone and you try to push towards things that you really want to achieve, all you'll be doing for the rest of your life is thinking, what if? And do you really want to live with, what if, or I tried, or, oh wow, I've done it. And you won't know until you've tried. And I think people need to stop thinking of the negatives. And, I think...
And to be honest, mate, I think because this podcast is getting quite long, I think that's a very good note to end on. I'm glad you touched on that. And I think the conclusion of this whole thing is podcast today, which is a very interesting discussions based on how people feel and mental health problems. I think fitness and dating certainly relate to those mental health problems and can be an issue. And if you have got any issues with yourself and mental health, if you're out there listening to this podcast right now, please get in touch with the Samaritans, because I know for sure they are a very good helpline and they're completely free. In terms of the other helplines that you can call, I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on any of that, because I'm not really too sure, but I do know that the Samaritans are 100% recommended, so I will recommend them myself. But yeah, so it's a very good note that Liam touched on there. It's a good way to sum up the podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. I think that if you're out there going to the gym, keep yourself fit, keep yourself healthy, stay safe during this lockdown, but don't take it too seriously. If you want to take it seriously, then that's great. But make sure that it doesn't, you're not doing it to impress anyone else, you're not doing it for social media reasons, and you're not doing it just because a celebrity, you want to look like a celebrity. Do it because there's a real a reason why you want to. Okay, Liam, Any last words, my friend, before we say goodbye?
Merry Christmas.
It's not Christmas yet.
Thanks for listening, and yeah, be you. Don't try to be someone you're not.
Cheers, mate. It's great having you on the podcast. Thank you very much.
See you later. Wow.